Right, so leading on from the last couple of tutorials, how to create the listing in Google Maps and then create that listing. As you'll see, that listing is now live because I'm not signed into Google. I've done a search for the business and zoomed into the area roughly where I thought it was, and hey presto, the listing's there. I would imagine at this stage that the client has clicked claim this business and followed our second tutorial on how to create that business, or claim that business rather, on Google Business. So we've done pretty much everything we can at this stage with Google Maps. But what we need to do is improve the listing in Google's organic search. We're going to go into that in this tutorial. I've done a search using google.co.uk for the business, and as you can see, it's ranking second organically, which isn't bad. The Yell linking at the top is to the same business, so people will find the website through the Yell listing, but my preference would be that the website ranks number 1 and Yell ranks number 2. So the third position would be occupied by any of the competitors, or possibly the Facebook page. So if we go into the website now, and open that in a new tab, we'll see that we've got the website open, and everything that we need at the top of the page is there. Where they are, the contact phone number, and I believe that's also a click to dial, which it is, but it needs editing, I think. And it tells us in a nutshell what the client does. However, there's no call to action. The call to action is below the image, get in touch. And if I click that, it scrolls down to an online form. But again, there's no contact details. You have to scroll down for those. So it may be an idea to put those over at the right hand side or the left hand side of the form. Curiously, if I do the same thing on mobile and I'll look at the website as it would display on a mobile phone, the call to action is actually visible, so I can click it. Again, it takes us to the form, and there's some more information under there. That ideally needs to have the phone number a little bit further up. And I know this might sound odd. Even though the phone number is right at the top of the page, some people will miss it. Let me go back to the page now. I'm going to use a tool called SEO Quake, and what this does is it will give me a very brief diagnosis of the page. So it's telling me that the URL is okay, it's not too long, and in my opinion, URLs should be quick and easy, to spell, roll off the tongue, and not even require a pen and paper, which in my opinion this doesn't. It's nice and easy. It has a title, which is good. It has a meta description, and we'll come on to that in a moment. And no keywords. Not a big deal because Google hasn't indexed keywords since, I think, January 2011. However, if the keywords are in the page, it gives Google and the other search engines an indication of the theme of the page, what that page is about. So it might be an idea to add some keywords. If you're using WordPress, you can use a plugin called Yoast SEO, or you could use all-in-one SEO, and you can put your own keywords, description and title. And again, as I said, I'm going to come on to that in a moment, because the title, the meta description and the keywords are all hidden. Nobody sees them, only the search engines, but they are very important. Again, moving further down, we've got headings, and this is perfectly constructed. We have one H1 tag, three H2s, 3 H3s and 11 H4 tags. The H1 tag is welcome to Deb's Holistics. It's fine. It may want to say something else, holistic healthcare for example, but again we're going to come on to that in a moment, because all these things tie in together. One thing that did stand out though was the text to HTML ratio. There's only 4.85% text to HTML ratio. That basically means there's a lot of code going on in the back end and not very much content. And if I look at the website itself, that's easy to see. We've got images, a little bit of content, more images, some content there, contact form, and some pricing. Pricing is always good because it pre-qualifies people before they even contact you. More content would be nice. So if I now go back to SEO Quick and click on density. Now this is telling me that the word massage is found in the description. It has 12 repeats and has a density of 2.49%, which is about right, anywhere between 2 and 2.5%. Holistics is in the title and the H1 tag, the first header tag, and has a density of 1.25. After that, we've got Swedish devs, reflexology, and aromatherapy. In my opinion, it's trying to be all things to all people at that stage. And what we're trying to rank for is holistic healthcare. So let's go down to the two-word section. We've got devs holistics, which is in the title and the H1 tag. Ideally, that needs to be in the title, the H1, the meta description, and the content. And it needs to be repeated quite often, but not too often, so it's not repetitive. And the density needs to be around, I would suggest 2.3, 2.4%. What I don't see here is holistic healthcare. And if you're trying to rank for holistic healthcare, my suggestion would be that that needs to go into the title, the H1 tag, the meta description, and the keywords, and obviously the content. Once you've done that, what you will find is probably after 2, maybe 4 weeks, that ranking will increase. You'll also notice the description is quite short in Google search results. You can put, if I recall, 260 characters in there. And if you don't put a description, a meta description, using the plugins, then Google will make one up from the content. Quite often this is inaccurate because it's just pulling content from the website. So my suggestion would be to install Yoast SEO or all-in-one SEO and use those to control the content on the page and how it's delivered in the Google search results. I would also move this image over or pop some contact details to the right hand side, maybe a call to action, so that that's visible on desktop. And then when somebody goes to the contact form, make sure the telephone number is displayed there as well. And maybe a plain text email as well. Some people like forms, some people like to send emails, other people like to just phone. So hopefully that's been of use. How I found a lot of this information was actually quite easy. I'm looking at your website, but if I hold down Control and then press U on the keyboard, it brings up all the source code for the page. I noticed that was quite slow to load, so I'm going to do a speed test as well. And I'm going to hold down Control and press F and tell it to find the H1 tag for me. There should only be one, and there's, according to Quake's SEO analysis, there is. And there we go. Welcome to Devs Holistics. If we go back to the website, that's that there. Okay. It could do with being bigger and maybe Devs Holistics being smaller, because the H1 tag should be a little bit more prominent. The only other thing that I wanted to cover was speed. Now, you've got an SSL certificate on this website, which is great. Google uses that as a ranking factor since I think 2016 or 2015. I know certainly mobile ranking was a factor from May 2015. So what I'm going to do now is press F12 on my keyboard to open up developer tools. It's already at the network tab. And then I'm going to go back to the website and hold down Control and R. to force a refresh. And I'm going to watch what's happening here. How quickly the page is loading is what's of interest to me. And it's taking a total of 3.96 seconds to load, which isn't bad. However, on a mobile connection, that's going to be 5, maybe 8 seconds. Right, what I've done here is I've disabled the cache, which means that my computer is not remembering any of the images or the content from the page. It's actually going to the server and getting a fresh copy. And I've limited the connection to slow 3G, and it's given us a more realistic speed now of 13.52 seconds. Change that to fast 3G, it should load quicker for us. And you can see how quick it would load on a mobile phone. 3.96, 4.5 seconds, which isn't too bad. So I might need to have a look at some of the content here. There's one element there, that JavaScript element, that was taking 2.5 seconds to load. There's probably nothing you can do about that. That will be integrated into GoDaddy's website builder, I would imagine. But overall, very good, nice and clean, easy to navigate. If it would be possible to put a navigation bar at the top so that people can hot jump to sections, for example, like About Me, Contact Us, Where We Are, Menu Prices, that would make life a little bit easier for users, I would imagine.